Hi, I am Sunita from the Chocolate Garage, and this is the long version of Sunita's top 10 picks of chocolate that go into a wonderful happy chocolate box that we send out to you wherever you'd like, to you or to some loved one who loves chocolate and wants to learn about chocolate. This is the video for the chocolate lover, because this is not the 1 minute bam bam bam, here are the bars, one word on the bar. This is a little bit more in depth. So without further ado, I will start. The Chocolate Garage, by the way, is in downtown Palo Alto, and we have been around for 7 years. I've been in the business now for about 12, and I curate a selection of chocolate. This is the garage behind me, and what I'm going to do tonight is tell you about 10 of my favorite bars from these walls. Happy chocolate is chocolate that is both crazy delicious, but also is making the supply chain happy. So is treating the folks who are growing the cacao, harvesting it, picking it, fermenting it, all the way to the end bar, treating all those folks, all the hands and hearts of those folks are happy as well. All right, here we go. So first in the lineup, we have Arete out of Milpitas, our local maker here in California. This one is a Vietnam 73%. A lot of small craft American makers are choosing to do 2 ingredients only. Arete is no different, except for some bars, like this one, for example, he finds that Leslie and David find that they would like to add cocoa butter. So what they do is they press cocoa butter from the same origin beans, the Tien Gang from Vietnam, and then they put 3%. So this is a 73, and 3% of this is cocoa butter that they've added that is single origin pressed from the same beans to total 73% cocoa content. And what does that make it? 27% sugar. Those are the 3 ingredients in this bar. It is lovely. It's really delicious. It's got a nice blend between the fudgy, earthy, chocolatey notes that we like in chocolate, but also a little bit of brightness, a little bit of fruit. It's one of my favorite right now. So that's this one. The next bar is an unusual bar in that it actually is both grown and turned into chocolate in the same place by the same people or person, actually. So Lonohana Estate Chocolate is on Oahu, and this is called the Kanahiku bar. It's a 70% 2-ingredient bar, so just cacao and sugar. Seneca Klassen is both the farmer as well as everything between the farmer and the end chocolate. Finished product that he then, for the most part, sells completely himself direct to customer. We're one of the few stores that he will sell to. We buy large batches, which makes it interesting for him, but for the most part, he's trying to have that direct customer relationship so that he's not selling to stores for the most part and losing part of the margin. This particular bar is lovely. We just got it in. It's the first time we have this particular one. It was part of his special club batch this quarter. Not quarter, I think it's every 2 months. In any case, 70% cacao and sugar. This, I believe, is still, yes, Maui cane sugar. That factory closed down, so that will go away, but it is a truly all-American chocolate to check out. We have, talking about American, we have a North American here, Canadian from Victoria, British Columbia, Sirène. And this is an interesting bar in that, well, for a lot of reasons, it is tasting in its own package. So you've got 2 small bars in here, and as you can see, it's labeled here, Ecuador, Tanzania. So Taylor of Sirène Chocolate basically does dark chocolates always at 73%, because he's born in 1973, as am I. And what he does is he takes different beans, but he does same sort of process, same style, same maker, same percentage, but he changes up the origin. So this is a way for you to really taste just the intrinsic nature, the difference between Ecuador and Tanzania. This in particular is Camino Verde and Coco Camili cacao from Tanzania. That is quite a mouthful. Next up, we have another Canadian maker. We've got a little theme here. Oh, we can reflect the screen. That's weird. Soma, Crazy 88 blend. This is a blend of many cocoa beans, different types of cocoa beans, into an 88%. Soma does add cocoa butter, as did the earlier bar that I mentioned, Arete. This one is an 88, and that 88 includes all the cocoa butter that's added. And this is a mix of, we've got Jamaica, Peru, Venezuela, and Java, 2 different types of Venezuela. So you've got a lot of different beans in here, different types of beans, all coming together to make what seems like a very, very dark bar, just looking at the number, but is an extremely accessible bar. We love this bar. Then we get into some playful bars. This is one of my favorites, Blood Orange by Patrick Chocolate. Patrick is in Columbia, Missouri. He's been making chocolate for 10 years, one of the very few craft makers who's been doing it for this long. This one is 66%, as you can tell from this title, and Blood Orange is added to this bar. So it's a 66% dark with Blood Orange essential oil that is made by Mandy Aftel, who's a perfumer in Berkeley. Her shop is called Aftelier Perfumes. She does perfumes, but she also does chef's lines. And so Patrick Chocolate used this particular essential oil to make this bar. And this bar is another exclusive to the Chocolate Garage. One of the things we do is we try to connect our customers to the makers. So in this case, this is a bar that we requested he make. We buy it by the whole batch, which nobody else does in the country. And so we basically crowdfund and prepay and have a guaranteed market for new bars that a maker develops for us. So this is one of the ones that we're really proud to carry, and it is really delicious. It gets into kind of those raspberry notes of blood orange beyond just orange. And this is not a zest flavor. This is the actual juice of the orange. Oftentimes when we have chocolate and orange, it's basically zest that's been covered in chocolate. Not the case for the Blood Orange by Patrick. Next up, these ones are hard because of the reflection. So we've got another Soma bar, same as the Crazy 88, same maker, but different packaging. In case you don't recognize it, the label's right here, Soma. This one is called Fazenda Boa Vista. It's a milk chocolate, it's a dark milk chocolate. So this one measures in at 55% milk. And Boa Vista, Fazenda Boa Vista is in Brazil. So this is a Brazilian cacao that Soma uses to make this dark milk. I can't stop eating this bar. It is not so much because it's sweet, so sweet that I just want to continue eating it, but it has such beautiful flavors. It's a fantastic bar. So that's why it's in the box. This is a bar I can't stop eating, but it's maybe not for the greatest reasons. This is a delicious bar. It's by Patrick. It's called The Boss. This is probably the second bar actually Patrick Chocolate made for us, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It's only at the Chocolate Garage. It doesn't exist anywhere else. This particular bar is a salty milk chocolate that has caramel notes, natural caramel notes. I think the salt in the blend of the beans that he uses also brings out some of the caramel, natural caramel notes. And then sprinkled on the back are nibs. Nibs are bits of cocoa beans. So that's on the back of this bar, which makes this such a perfect combination of just sweet and comforting milk chocolate, kind of like brings me back to my childhood. And then the nibs are 100% cacao, they're pure. And so you're crunching the nibs and it's like this wonderful mix of intense pure cacao, but made accessible by the salty milk chocolate. My favorite thing to do with this bar, other than just eat it, I just had, this video is powered by The Boss actually. I think I didn't have enough lunch, so that Boss tasted really good. Favorite thing to do with this, as what I was saying, is to pair it with tequila, a particular tequila. There's a tequila that I love called Fortaleza is the brand, Añejo is the age, and that and The Boss is a cure-all for any bad day, and it's just absolutely delicious. Next, we have a wonderful new bar by Charm School Chocolate, one of our newest makers, and we just absolutely love them. A lot of small makers start out, and frankly, they put their chocolate out before it's ready to be in packages and on shelves and being sold. Charm School Chocolate is an absolute exception to that. From the get-go, when they had first started putting chocolate out, and I met them at the Mercantile, a Good Food Awards Mercantile, beautiful chocolate. What's fun about it as well is that they're doing all vegan. So not only their darks that are obviously by definition vegan, but all of their milks are using coconut. And it's not like you think, oh, it's good for a vegan bar. This is a delicious bar, period, on its own, regardless of whether or not it has dairy or non-dairy in it. This particular bar they made especially for us. You can find it direct from them or you can get it from us. Dark Coconut Milk Ecuador is what it's called. It has a little salt in the bar, nibs sprinkled on the back. And again, it's quite a dark one. It's 64%. You can see that on the back, 64% cacao. So really a dark milk. And this is the first time Charm School Chocolate has ventured into using a different cacao than they've used for their previous lineup of bars. All their bars used to be using Belize, cacao from Belize, Maya Mountain cacao. And now they've branched out into another origin, and this is Camino Verde, Ecuador. So this is the first non-Belize origin that they've made. And we are so proud and happy and honored and delighted and enjoying this bar that we have here at the Chocolate Garage. So come and get it. And that's another reason why I'm putting it in here. It's really delicious. When we source unique bars, obviously it'd be a terrible business decision to have a bar that's just mediocre, because when you're buying hundreds up to 1,000 of a particular bar, it has to be amazing, or else you're going to have it in your storeroom expiring before you can sell it. So it's aligning all the interests. Next up, we have Lonohana Estate Chocolate again. I described this as bean to bar and Oahu. This one's called Cafe au lait. I don't particularly like coffee and chocolate together usually. I like them separate. I like them both a lot separately. This is the bar that has brought those together for me in a way that I absolutely love. So it's a pretty dark chocolate. It's a Cafe au lait, as you can read the title of the chocolate. So it's a creamy, milky chocolate with a nice kick of coffee. And Seneca sources the coffee from a local roaster in Hawaii and uses that in his chocolate. So there you go. It's 52. It's 52%, I believe. 50 or 52. Last but not least, the reason I started the Chocolate Garage is the Grenada Chocolate Company. I learned about 12 years ago what was going on in cacao and chocolate, and I remember Mott Green of the Grenada Chocolate Company saying that the reason he started his business is because he saw what was going on in Côte d'Ivoire, what was going on in West Africa, and felt like he wanted to try to develop a new model, and boy did he ever. He built a factory in Grenada, did finished product in Grenada. It's one of the first ones to do that at a reasonably small scale compared to the big industrial players, and was really an inspiration for me. If you go onto their site and you listen to him, he was just a radical and just an amazing, amazing man. So this particular one is the most playful and accessible and fun bar. It's called Nibbalicious. So there are nibs in it, nibs being those little bits of cocoa beans that I mentioned. It's a 60%. It's won awards, as you can see. There's a bunch of awards. I don't typically focus so much on the awards because sometimes awards totally nail it and sometimes they don't. But this particular bar I absolutely love. It is one of my picks. It's got the nibs in the bar, which is not common. Usually they're sprinkled on top because that's a lot more, it's an easier way to do it for small makers who don't have complicated machinery. Anyway, so this Nibbalicious is absolutely lovely, just a really accessible bar to both people who think they only love dark chocolate or think they only love milk chocolate. This kind of brings them together. Frankly, a lot of the bars that we have bring people together and make people realize that percentages don't mean very much. You should taste the chocolate. Milk or dark is not necessarily a reason for excluding one bar or another. So all 10 bars that I just described are all together in a wonderful little box that we wrap with some beautiful velvety ribbon. And we have a little tasting wheel. This is a tasting wheel that you'll see in a lot of places. We have it branded the Chocolate Garage, but we acknowledge whose it is. So Seneca Klassen of Lonohana Estate Chocolate has been in the chocolate world for a long time. In a previous incarnation with Bittersweet, he developed this tasting wheel. And a lot of us use it here in the chocolate industry. So basically the idea is you can use this as you're tasting the plain darks or even the milks as a way to help you think about what you might be tasting. You can just taste the chocolate and ooh and ah and decide it's like 10 thumbs up or 3 thumbs up and totally delicious and that it blows your mind. Or if you want to try to identify the flavors and the different things that you're tasting, you can use this tasting wheel. Basically, the most generic, the most sort of non-specific descriptors are in the middle, like fruity, nutty, and then as you go out, you see things like stone fruit, citrus, dried fruit, various sort of really specific terms, down to like dried apricots, cherry, that kind of thing. So this can be a really fun thing to do with a group of friends, something to do over the holidays maybe. Instead of dessert, you have this box and you pull out the bars, and you could even do a little blind tasting, make people who don't know what the bars are try to guess the flavors, like blood orange, or I guess they're just blood orange. But anyway, you can have a lot of fun with this. So thank you for listening. If you're still listening, it actually means that you have a long attention span and maybe a little bit of extra time, making time for chocolate videos, and that you're really intense and geeky about chocolate, which is what I am. So I'm glad you listened this far, and I think that's it. Oh, and then if you want to learn more about cacao, you want to see pods and trees, and you want to learn more about happy chocolate and what's going on in the happy chocolate world, we have this wonderful documentary. Well, I think it's wonderful because it's my first documentary. It's about Nicaragua. Brought some folks down there on a trip, documented what's going on there. That's super inspiring and is absolutely in line with happy chocolate and the goals and the mission of happy chocolate. So check it out. It's on our website, thechocolategarage.com, all one word, thechocolategarage.com. There's a tab that says trips. If you click on that, our video is right there. Check it out. There's a maker that I did not talk about in this video, but who makes wonderful chocolate covered cocoa beans that I definitely recommend, but they're hard to put in a box. Check that out. And then if you don't want to watch that and you just want to buy the box, that's okay with me too. You can watch the video later. You can click on buy, and that will get you to Sunita's picks, and we will send that to you promptly. Wonderful. Well, I am off to Cuba. Literally in a few hours. So have a wonderful holiday. I will be back middle of December, and I will be crafting another documentary about Cuba and what's going on chocolate-wise there, and just in general, what are some of the interesting things happening in that country. All right, cheers. I hope you liked this video. Goodbye.